Get up, and it is time to do math. There is nothing I enjoy more than a little mathematical equation in order to answer questions about sports. And let me set it up by presenting this. Earlier this week, Shams was on the Pat McAfee show, and he gave this little preview of what this upcoming NBA offseason might look like.
I think this offseason might be the most craziest ever. You have the parity in the league.
Sucks.
It's so thin right now. Like, as far as the thin line of where you can win a championship or you might be falling into the lottery. And I think the ability to go out there and improve your team and get there to championship level, I think that's on the minds of everyone around the league.
Okay, so that's sort of the setup. So the offseason is not all that far away, and the first name everyone is going to be talking about is Giannis. I think there's an expectation we could see something happen with Giannis pretty quickly when the NBA offseason begins. So let's do our favorite thing. Let's do math, shall we? Let's do a mathematical equation. Monica McNutt, I'm beginning with you.
Okay.
This is Pineapple Jack in a Jets helmet because why not? Here we go. Here's our math, okay? We got Giannis plus which team would equal an NBA championship?
Well, in this equation, Professor Greenberg, does time matter?
I mean, you tell me.
All right, well, with the information given, I'm going to go San Antonio Spurs, ladies and gentlemen.
San Antonio.
Ding, 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 ding.
Tell me why.
That's the answer.
Well, I just think that would be a monster lineup. I mean, Victor Wembanyama, they've got great point guard play. They've got a supporting cast. I mean, obviously, some of it will look different if you add Giannis, but I think you bring that championship pedigree to a market similar to OKC in that no frills, no fuss, let's just play basketball and figure out how to win at a high level. I think that would be a problem, a wrecking ball for the league.
You buy
Spurs, yes. Yes, I was thinking about it already. Look, they got the second and the 14th pick. They have some draft capital. They, they can say, we've got something to give you back in your build. And they have to give up a really good young player. I'm not giving up Castle, period. I hang up the phone. Because if I can keep Wembanyama and Castle and De'Aaron Fox and you add Giannis, come on now.
But you got to trade something.
You do. You got the second and 14 picks. You got Vassell. You got what other?
On Castle.
I'm not trading Castle.
I'm
not getting rid of Castle. Hang up the phone.
Is that your? Let me get Wendy in here. Do I have Wendy? I have Wendy. Yes, thank you. Brian Windhorst, how about this? Let's not put the cart before the horse. We're talking about how nice it would look to put Giannis on the San Antonio Spurs. Is it a realistic possibility?
It's realistic because the Spurs definitely have the assets to both trade for Giannis and have a contending team on the other side of it. But I got to tell you, you have to compute what Giannis may want, and it's not a commentary on Victor or the Spurs. I'm listening to Chris Finch last night from the Timberwolves saying that next year he thinks 13 teams in the Western Conference could be trying to win, and that you could have a great season and go 42-40. And I didn't disagree with them, and I think Giannis will see that too. The move for Giannis, if he has a control, is to go to the East.
Wow.
Greeny, Wendy, I thought about that in my answer. I really thought about that in my answer, but I don't know where he would go in the East that is close. Well,
Boston.
Is that real? Wendy, is that real? Like, I had KD in Boston in my head too. Like, but I don't think that's real.
If you're thinking about, depending upon the time gap with Jason Tatum, if you have a lot of contracts to move off of, if you're trying to blow it up and reset.
There are people in this city in New York that would like Giannis also.
That's one.
What are so look, you opened the door. What are the teams we should have an eye on in the Eastern Conference if that is part of his thinking?
Well, again, I think you have to look at the teams that could make a trade for Giannis that the Bucks would accept, and on the other side of the trade would have a contending team. So
I don't
Boston
know
would be on that list.
like that.
I agree.
Boston would be on the list. Yeah.
Boston may be the only one, but then
Boston
on the other side of it.
Who else would?
Go
ahead, Wendy.
I think New York would be on that list. There's some difficulties when you talk about aprons and second apron teams trying to make trades, and that's a reality. But there are some teams on the Eastern Conference you could construct an ability to get this done.
Miami.
Yeah.
Well, I know we joked about it. And I keep saying it. And I know we say everybody comes to New York for visitations, but the dude went to New York and San Francisco for vacation with his family to walk around.
Yeah.
Dude spends a lot of time over in Europe, warm places. You want to get the hell away from the United States. That's where he always, I'm just saying.
I don't know. Look, maybe he wanted to see a couple of Broadway shows. I really enjoyed Death Becomes Her. George Clooney's on Broadway right now. He might have liked that. Okay, I got another mathematical equation. We got Kevin Durant.
Is math. I
love math. Look, you guys all played your sports, okay? I went to school. Here we go. We got Kevin Durant plus what team equals an NBA champion? Jay Will.
I got it. Anthony Edwards.
That's a team?
Yeah. KD. Well, yeah, I got
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota. Anthony. Well, he is Minnesota, correct?
You got him.
Like he's not. I got him plus
going,
KD. I think can equal a championship.
Tell me why. So if you put KD on that team last night,
well, it depends upon what other assets that they have to replace him with. But I think just offensively, it relieves him from trying to do everything. And I actually think those pieces are extremely complementary. When we talk about Ant taking the next step in his career, I think there's nobody better to help him do that than KD. And it feels like that's KD and Ant Edwards against the world.
Houston.
That's me.
Michael likes Houston. And Monica likes Houston.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think that Houston has both what Monica described perfectly, which is necessary. You've got the assets to acquire him, and then on the other side, you got enough players. That roster, I mean, look at what Houston just did.
A lot of good young players. Yeah, they're the two seed in the West.
Seed in the West. So I just see KD now more as a finisher, Jay. I don't know that I want. Look, as great as KD is, and it's an all-time great, his team just finished 12th.
Yeah.
12th, and he's got Devin Booker running with him. So I need to see a complete roster that KD is joining, and he brings the might as a closer.
Wendy, what should we be looking at when it comes to Kevin Durant?
Well, first off, and I'm cognizant of going and doing, talking about things that almost happened, being a tiresome storyline. In the wake of the trade deadline, it became clear to me just how significant and how hard Minnesota tried to get Kevin Durant at the trade deadline. Now, it was a Herculean effort because both of those teams were in the second apron, but there was a point in this year where Minnesota was very interested in making this happen. And as they looked at that beast defensively that they had to deal with last night, I could see them considering revisiting this. However, I got to say two things. They have an ownership change about to happen, and their general president, Tim Connolly, can opt out of his contract. He can become a free agent this summer, so they got to make sure that's taken care of, plus their ownership transition. There's a lot of moving parts, but I think absolutely Minnesota should be on that list.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on all these things. These are all things that will start, and Wendy has made this point here, perhaps before the draft, because a lot of these trades are going to happen for draft picks. So we're talking about, the NBA draft being basically a month from right now. Keep a close eye on some of these deals getting done. I promised Michael Wilbon that I would get this in today. So
Mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn cách làm một tấm lót cốc đơn giản từ len nhé. Nguyên liệu của mình đây. Mình sẽ sử dụng 3 màu sắc len như thế này để làm nhé mọi người. Màu cam, màu đen và màu hồng.